What is up, everybody? Welcome to The Wire. It is Wednesday, hump day, as it is said. We hope you enjoyed the H2G podcast at 7, but now it's time to talk sports. And I am joined by a couple of my favorite people in the universe. I've got Richie, Phillips, and Sahe up in the house. What's going on, fellas?
Yo.
Work, man. I haven't eaten yet. Hungry, irritable, ready to talk, ready to fight.
Dang. Well, we got Richie in rare form. All right. Well, absolutely. Right. We're gonna flip the format of the show a little bit because we are now into postseason. So instead of brushing over the NBA, we're gonna brush over the NFL in the first part of the show. We'll still talk about the important things, which we're going to today. But then we're going to focus some on the NBA because there's a lot of juicy stuff going on. So let's dive in. Guys, the rumor mill has been churning this week. There's a few things going on with the new NFL coach, Urban Meyer. And I'll let Richie kind of elaborate on some other things going on. But among all of the news that he has had circling him this week, there's rumors that Urban Meyer has been speaking out about considering trading his first round pick, which we know is ultimately Trevor Lawrence, to get Deshaun Watson out of Houston. Now, my first question that comes to mind is Deshaun Watson a sure thing where Trevor Lawrence is a question mark? Is this a good thought process for Urban Meyer to have? I mean, Deshaun Watson's 25, Trevor Lawrence is 21. In my opinion, there's not really a longevity question. Too big of a difference, or is 4 years a huge difference if you feel that way? But yeah, Richie, what are your thoughts on that?
Excuse me. Should he go for that? Absolutely. Will he get it? No. I mean, Deshaun Watson is an MVP. We talked about him multiple times on the show. With absolute nobodies, led the league in passing yards and QBR rating and et cetera. Like, he is by far, a top 3 quarterback, and that's including Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, those guys had incredible seasons. Aaron Rodgers got MVP, and statistically, Deshaun Watson was similar. Now, he had more interceptions, but like we're talking about, when you're throwing it to like bags of salt, what do you expect? I'm not going to catch the ball. So, I mean, he's 20. He's the only young quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes who's worth a crap right now. And all I'll say is that's not a good trade. Like a straight up trade? Absolutely not. If I were Houston, I'd be demanding at least a swap, a pick plus an additional pick in Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. Because you got to look at it. Matt Stafford got 2 first-round picks for Matt Stafford. And we talked about, I like the guy. I think he's way better. There's some people on the panel that were not huge fans, but I think he's a great quarterback. And the fact that if he got 2 picks, though, and Deshaun Watson, who is clearly a superior player at the age of 25, already in his prime at a young age and a pure leader, you got, like I said, you got to at least swap the pick with Trevor in addition to getting next year's first pick from Jaguars, plus the Deshaun Watson flip. So that's a tall order, but that'd be my bare minimum, if not more. Realistically, probably more. I probably want maybe a second and a third. I mean, you're talking, again, how many MVP quarterback talents are there? 2 to 3 in the league. So if you're going to be trading that or trying to get that, Trevor Lawrence, I'm not saying he's bad or he's good. He's the perennial favorite to be the first pick, but we don't know if he's going to be Deshaun Watson. He could be Mitchell Trubisky of Chicago, right? Everyone was panning him, and originally he was supposed to be the first quarterback taken. He ended up sliding, I think, to 3rd or 5th for Chicago. So, and look how his career has turned out, realistically. They're not always amazing. Now, Trevor Lawrence looks better than Mitchell Trubisky, let's be honest. But at the same time, he played for Clemson. And, this is the same thing that happens with Fields and a lot of Ohio State quarterbacks. When you look at a quarterback and they're in a dominant team where their athleticism kind of takes advantage and takes over games, it's hard to judge the quarterback skill, right? Because Fields is falling. He was originally projected to be 2nd quarterback, and now he's rated 4th on almost every board. And what did he do wrong? Nothing. I think it was like 50 touchdowns, something like that. The point being is last year and then this year was like 30-something on the 6 games. Like, he had a great career that he got to play, and he's falling. So that's my point is, like, this is always this up and down kind of stuff. We don't know what Trevor Lawrence is going to be, but we do know what Deshaun Watson is. So having said that, yeah, absolutely, Urban Meyer should do it. Is Urban Meyer going to get it? Hell no, he's not going to get it. Because one, he's not going to be able to give up those types of things. It's just not going to happen. And two, right now, everyone in the league is calling, and Houston claiming they're not taking anything, right? So when you got Stafford leaving, Wentz is on the board, and he's only commanding a second pick. Like, he's not even getting a first right now. Carson Wentz, side note. He's only getting a second-round pick right now. So Deshaun Watson is, Carson Wentz plus Matt Stafford plus Trevor Lawrence trade. There's a lot that needs to go onto the table for Deshaun Watson. So having said that, yeah, Urban should do it. And that'd be the only thing Urban will do anytime soon that people will be happy about and excited about. Because to briefly brush over it, he hired somebody with that basically he shouldn't have hired. Let's be honest, right? The optics alone look terrible. We don't need to get into the details, but the optics look terrible. When it is a dead to rights, do not hire this person, and you have the conviction to say that you vetted vehemently and you had conversations with this gentleman who, again, nobody would realistically want to play under, and you hire him, and then you have to backtrack 2 weeks later because you recognize the public fall. I'm concerned for Jacksonville. I mean, I've never been a huge Urban Meyer fan, just from the perspective of every place he went, Utah, Florida, and Ohio State, problems ended up happening, right? So we can talk about it. Maybe he's picking kids who have problems and troubled past just based on athleticism and getting it done. Or maybe he just breeds a culture. It's hard to know. We don't know. I'm not trying to conjecture there, but the bottom line is wherever Urban's been, he's had a sloppy shop. And so do I expect Jacksonville to be much better? No. And based on this, first screw up already, it's, I can't, and the other thing I will say about Urban too, side note, not to steer this too far, Urban gets stressed out, right? That's why he's quit coaching multiple times, is he can't deal with the stress of college. How's he going to deal with the stress of the NFL? If he thinks college is tough, again, college is easy. The kids are motivated, right? Because they only have a limited amount of time and they want to play. And at the NFL, some guys aren't motivated. It's your job as the coach to get them motivated. I don't know, man. He's got a rough road ahead of him. He handpicked his choice. So he's got no excuses. He's getting Trevor Lawrence, as you're saying, right? And I agree. That's what's going to ultimately happen. I don't think he'll get Deshaun like he would like. But he's going to get Trevor Lawrence, and he's going to have to show people. And I think that's what's scary for him in that sense is, yeah, you're getting paid top 5 or coach money already, never coaching an NFL game. And the expectations are going to be through the roof. You got Trevor Lawrence, you handpicked your staff, you're bringing 6 former college football head coaches as part of your staff. I feel like this is Nick Saban 2.0. I don't think it'll pan out. And I think in 2 to 3 years, he's just going to quit. So good luck to it.
Sahe, I think if I remember, you are somewhat of an Urban Meyer fan. You can definitely give me your thoughts on whether it would be a good move, the trade for Deshaun Watson. But my question is, if for some reason, if he's able to work something out, say it's not for Deshaun Watson, but for some reason this pick goes away from Jacksonville, what would happen to Trevor Lawrence? And then the backfield question for you after you answer that, how do you think Urban Meyer's doing so far?
So if they don't have that pick for Trevor Lawrence, I'm not sure. So I think they should do everything they can to get Deshaun Watson, trade every pick, because the NFL stands for not for long.
That's right.
So if he could get fired after a year, I mean, I know that he doesn't want to waste time. You know what I'm saying? He's not coming in here to build a franchise. He wants success right out the gate. Because you think about it, this Jacksonville team was just, a game away from the Super Bowl or something like that, just a couple years ago, 2 years ago?
Yep.
So, I mean, but they did trade away a lot of pieces from that team. So he's got his work cut out for him. It's a tough place. It's a tough place. But if they could somehow get a veteran quarterback in there, like a Deshaun Watson, I think they will do really, really good. Really, really good. He's a game changer. I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence right now. I think he's just a product of a good defense, a good, well-recruited team. Well, he had his pro day. Urban Meyer was right there. So these rumors have to be coming from somewhere. Maybe he doesn't like what he sees out of Trevor Lawrence. So we'll just have to see. The only time will tell what's going to go on with Urban Meyer. I hope he does well. Absolutely. He's in a tough division. So,
yeah, certainly. And the Jaguars need something, and Urban Meyer needs redemption, some would say. So we'll see what goes on there. I would like to point out, too, just some other quarterbacks that come to, or at least one other quarterback that comes to mind, Cam Newton. Just because you've got success in college football doesn't mean that you're going to be a long-term legend in the NFL. It takes more than that. And once you acclimate yourself to a certain style of play that you can get traded a million times, you're going to get limited to the way you played last season ultimately. We haven't seen a lot of these guys grow past that. So I'm interested to see what happens as well. A couple quick takes on the NFL before we're gonna take the early break this week and go into NBA and cover it heavy because we've been kind of leaving the NBA high and dry lately. Real quick, if Drew Brees decides to retire and you're Sean Payton, do you roll with Jameis Winston or do you spend this offseason focusing on getting a quarterback? Can you rely on Jameis Winston given what we saw in Tampa? Sahe, I'll let you take this one first this time.
I like Jameis Winston. He's a great quarterback. He had a lot of things that didn't go his way in Tampa. We didn't have any kind of solid O-line play. Our running back depth wasn't really there. Our defense hadn't grown yet. So he was drafted number 1 overall for a reason. He was drafted to a really, really, really shitty team. So he had a hard job ahead of him. And he did something only a few quarterbacks have ever been able to do. He threw for 5,000 yards. Not a lot of quarterbacks are doing that, even in the past, with all the passing and everything going on in the NFL today. He did something spectacular. He also threw 30 interceptions, but that's what you would expect, especially if you know about Bruce Arians' offense. And then Jameis Winston's mentality to just let it up there. He's got great receivers, so he's just going to let it fly. And unfortunate things happen, but I feel like Sean Payton is a great coach with a talent like Jameis. You have to keep him in. You're going to get him for cheap. Oh my God, sign him right now. If Drew retires, but I think Drew's coming back. So
yeah, that's what I was going to lead with to you, Richie. Do you think we'll see Drew retire? To somewhat alter this question for you, and then again, if you're Sean Payton, are you on the track of keeping Jameis Winston, or is there something else you think that he needs to be focusing on in the offseason?
Well, I disagree with Sahe. I think Drew Brees is done. I think the 8-rib crack thing, the back strains and the vertebrae, like he's 43, 44, something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, like he's just a shell of himself and it's unfortunate. Tom Brady and him are the same age. Tom Brady still looks like he's 38. Drew Brees looks like he's 44. It was unfortunate to watch that playoff game, but he didn't have it. He didn't have it. And I think Drew's probably going to retire because I think Drew knows it too. It's like, I don't think he's the type of guy who's going to try to chase that, like, well, this was a bad game, so let me try to redeem myself, like the Brett Favre, where he stays too long. I think he's going to recognize I'm not at the caliber I used to be. I think he's going to retire. To your second point, absolutely got to go Jameis Winston. One, Sahe made great points. Career average of 87 quarterback rating. He's pretty solid. And he had a bad team. And, he's averaging, except for the anomaly where he got injured, it was like 3,000. He's averaging almost like 42, 50 yards, something like that, when you're talking about a young quarterback with a really bad team, no coaching, no leadership, and he just kind of had to figure it out. They'll get him on the cheap. They're $100 million over the cap right now. I mean, right now they need to look for friendly options. To me, you're not going to get a more cap-friendly and quality quarterback than Jameis Winston. Teddy Bridgewater fleeced the Carolina Panthers. You know what I mean? He costs more than Jameis Winston. I'd rather have Jameis Winston in a heartbeat. And Teddy Bridgewater is the starting quarterback for Carolina. So to answer your question, yeah, absolutely. I don't feel like there's a better option for them. Who else could they possibly grab in free agency? And you're not going to want to draft a young rookie to replace Drew Brees, right? That legacy, you can't do that. You got to throw in a veteran. Jameis Winston is absolutely a veteran. And it's more indicative of how little they trust Taysom Hill, as we talked about before, that gentleman being a backup quarterback that makes $18.5 million. He makes more money than Jameis Winston's making, and he's going to be sitting on the bench. That's more what's going on. So,
absolutely. Last quick take, and we'll go reverse order on this. San Francisco, should they stick with Jimmy Garoppolo, who I remind you is currently a free agent, or could we see Jimmy Garoppolo in Patriot gear again? I'll ask you both. Richie, we'll start with you.
My take is neither team should really focus on him. I've never understood the Jimmy Garoppolo hype. I'm in the Bay Area, and don't get me wrong, they had a great year and they're a great team. But Jimmy can't stay healthy, first and foremost. So 1, Jimmy can't stay healthy. 2, when Jimmy is performing, he's a great quarterback, probably a top 10 quarterback. But again, is he elite? Because I swear the way people talk about him is that he's a top 5 quarterback, and I don't understand it. He's never had that kind of a season. Yes, he led the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl, but guess what? They lost, and their defense carried them. I'm just being honest. Their defense absolutely carried them. They're a running back by committee team. They did, he had to rely on Kittle, who's an amazing tight end, but the point being is they didn't really have any particular weapons. I'm not counting that against Jimmy G, but I don't get the hype with Jimmy G. They tried hard on Stafford, and the only reason they lost is the Rams were willing to give up 2. If they'd gotten Matt Stafford, Jimmy G, I'm telling you, is already in New England. Do I think Jimmy G will stay in San Francisco? Most likely, because again, as we just discussed, who's their option? Who can they get that's going to replace Jimmy G? Because as I just said, he may be overrated in my mind, but he's still a great, arguably top 10 type quarterback. Will he stay healthy is the real question. But does Bill Belichick want him? Absolutely. Bill Belichick never wanted to trade Jimmy Garoppolo for a second-round pick. He wanted Jimmy Garoppolo to replace Tom Brady, and this was 6 years ago, right? 6 years ago, he wanted him out. So could we see Jimmy G in New England? It's possible, but I think it would have to be an enticing deal for the 49ers to let him go. And I just don't see that happening. They're not trying to be mediocre. They're not trying to be a bad team. They're 2 years removed from being Super Bowl winners. And quite frankly, we're winning in the Super Bowl, and Kansas City came back. So they're still competitors. They still have a fantastic team, and you got your quarterback who did lead you to the Super Bowl. I don't see Jimmy leaving. I don't see New England getting him unless they go for an aggressive trade.
Sahe, is there a reason for San Francisco to let Jimmy Garoppolo go somewhere else? And do you think it would be such a warm welcome, like Richie put it, in New England if he were to go back?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Bill Belichick wants Jimmy Garoppolo anymore. He was the best option at the time that he drafted him. That was like the perfect situation. Let me get this quarterback now. We still got Brady. Let him learn under Brady. And then when Brady's done, we can plug this kid right in. But that boat is sailed. Bill Belichick didn't become the coach that he is. You know what I'm saying? Fishing back for guys that he had once before. You know what I'm saying? He's always on to the next thing. Who knows what Bill Belichick is going to do? Maybe he, you know what I'm saying, somehow gets Carson Wentz, you know what I'm saying, over there. That would be kind of attractive. But I don't think so. Maybe I'm trying to think of quarterbacks available that the Patriots could use. It's tough. We'll
certainly Deshaun Watson.
Say this again. Well, no, I don't think they're going to go after Deshaun Watson. They like I think they like the game manager type. Maybe they go with Alex Smith. He's wanting to come back and play again. That's my vote.
I don't see Belichick as the type to try to trade in on Trevor Lawrence and get into bed with Jacksonville on anything either. So,
Not me either.
All right. Well, that's our little take on the NFL. We appreciate it. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk NBA. You're watching The Wire. Don't go anywhere. Hey there, it's Justo from the H2G podcast.
Hello there.
Are you ready for season 4?
Yeah. I love the way it sounds.
Gotta get my meatwad voice ready.
This season will be bigger and better than ever.
But thank you, man. I'll take it. It's good to see you.
Catch the H2G podcast season 4, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, the best part of my week.
And don't miss The Wire every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
It's been a long time coming.
We'll see y'all next week.
Welcome
to
the H2G
To the H2G
podcast.
We'll see you there. All right, everybody, welcome back to The Wire. It is time to talk NBA, and I'm just going to get things kicked off. So this past week, something got brought to light. The Dallas Mavericks have not been playing the national anthem. Let's make this clear. All season long. Suddenly, this past week, the NBA came out mandating that the anthem be played at Mavericks games. So my first question, and I believe we're going to Sahe next on this one, Mark Cuban had originally stated that he wasn't going to play the anthem 9 weeks ago when the season started. He stated that the anthem doesn't speak for them as an organization. My question to you is why all of a sudden 9 weeks later is the NBA now stepping in and mandating that the anthem be played? I mean, what did nobody notice? And all, we're almost halfway through the season. We're 2 weeks from the middle of the season right now. and all of a sudden this has become a deal. What do you make of it?
It's kind of ridiculous. There's really no fans at the game, so why do you have to play it anyway? Nobody really cares about the national. It's not like a motivating factor for the players. Like, we're playing for our country. This is the reminder of that, so let's all pledge allegiance to the flag as we do it, hand over hearts. Like, what does it really matter? But at the same time, the NBA is a product, and they have to uphold the integrity of it, make it appeal to certain demographics of fans. So I see why the NBA would mandate it, but who really cares? Is my point. Who really cares?
Richie,
I do like singing the song. It's a fun and challenging song to sing. I'll say that.
Well, yeah. And we love hearing you sing anything, so you could,
regardless, you
can sing the national anthem if that's what you want to sing, and you can sing it right here on The Wire.
Oh, sweet. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Richie, coming at you. One, do you agree with Sahe on what he said about all this? And I do want to know what you make of it taking so long for this to become news, like for the NBA to now. I mean, it's 9 weeks in a 72-game season. But in addition to that, why are we still, he asked the question, why are we still playing the anthem at sporting events? I mean, it doesn't play before Broadway shows. It doesn't play before concerts. It doesn't play before public speaking events most of the time. Is it simply a tradition to sports that we should be maintaining this ancient song that doesn't, as Mark Cuban originally put it, necessarily represent the country that we are now? Why are we still playing?
Good questions. All I'm going to say is fuck the NBA. I'll say it right now. And I've said it before. I said it last year. So here's why I fuck the NBA. And the NBA acts like they're better than the NFL. What I mean by that is from a social injustice standpoint. They always, right, they advocate, the players can have Black Lives Matter, this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? When they had the naming phrases, they had to choose from a list of phrases. They didn't let the players just put whatever they wanted. There were only phrases like Black Lives Matters, I can't breathe, very specific phrases. The NBA is just as much of a marketing machine as the NFL. They just like to pretend like they're better socially, and they're not. This is just like the NFL in that they have a contract with the United States government, and this is advertising, right? Yes, there's no fans, to Sahe's point, and to your point. There's no fans, but the bottom line is they signed a contract with the government, and they're going to make sure it happens. Now, why this didn't happen? It's because what we just talked about. Who gives a shit? The NBA wasn't keeping track of it, and then somebody happened to report, oh my goodness, I noticed this wasn't happening. And Mark Cuban was like, yeah, I'm the owner. We haven't been doing it all year. And then the NBA goes, oh shit, we got to do something. So that's why this happened. It's absurd. It was the same thing last year. There was a whole thing. Daryl Morey was the current 76ers GM, was Houston Rockets GM. And he basically had said, free Hong Kong, right? And we stand with Hong Kong. And LeBron James and other people basically lampoosted him because, God forbid, they take their money from China, right? So one guy does a political stance, oh, boo, it's a huge problem because it's not in the United States, it's another country. So we don't care about them. We only care about social and political things in very specific ways. Now, I'm not saying LeBron James, but I'm talking the NBA, right? In terms of Black Lives Matter. So this is just the NBA, another typical advertising opportunity. And we're going to get into that probably in a little bit because I think we're going to talk about the All-Star game in a minute. And it's the exact same thing. But when we get to that, we'll talk about it. Bottom line, why is it being played? No real reason. It's just money. Money talks. It's really stupid. And as we just said, nobody even noticed. So why? Why does it matter? Why do they have to play it? Nobody's there when they're playing it. It's literally an empty stadium. Who cares? I don't understand. It'd be one thing at least if they're fine. ESPN, and it's playing, but it's not even playing on TV. So why does it? Why? Who cares, man? I don't understand. Even from the marketing perspective, it's not even being played and shown on TV. Why?
Some cook or janitor in the stadium was like, I've been bitching about this for 9 weeks. Finally.
Some respect.
Oh man, yeah, I don't get it. The anthem, like we've talked about it in the past, even with the whole Kaepernick and how crazy that got. He was told by a veteran, if you want to at least show us any respect, make sure that you are observing the national anthem while it's played by taking a knee. And he did that, and that's what caused the uproar. Prior to that point, the national anthem wasn't even on TV unless it was the Super Bowl being sung by Sahe because he just launched his new record, that was the only time and then I would call out, and I think I did this before, I would call out everybody at home. Are you standing from your couch and covering your heart during the national anthem? I don't know. It befuddles me that 9 weeks have passed. Nobody said anything. And now all of a sudden, out of the blue, some Karen probably ruined it for everybody. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, we talked a little bit about it. Let's dive into it. So LeBron James talked this week. He came out and said, with such a small, and I'm paraphrasing, small gap between seasons, with the season being extended to 72, and with the Lakers, a lot of us believe their inevitable postseason run. He doesn't understand why they're still being mandated to play the All-Star game. My question to start it all off, and I think we're on Richie, right? Should the NBA be maintaining the All-Star game with all the factors that apply to this season?
Here's my question. Why is LeBron James talking about this? I'm sorry, I'm a big LeBron James fan, but right now he's being a backstabber. He knows why. He's just putting it out there in the media just to make the NBA look bad. And it's like, dude, why are you doing it? Like Dame Lillard basically said the other thing. I'd rather spend time with my family, right? But I understand that I have obligations as an athlete and to my league. Now, do I think they should be playing? No. Do I think LeBron James is right in what he's saying? Absolutely. But he shouldn't be saying this in public. because he is the figurehead of the league. He really is. And he has to represent the league, from that perspective better, right? You can't be a cherry picker, LeBron. Like when the NBA does things you like, you advocate for them. But in this case, you're like, oh, well, I don't agree with this, that, and the other. Okay, well, you don't seem to care about COVID that much anyway. I'm just being honest. Like he says the things he needs to say, but like there's been so many times where he's been shown like walking into the stadium and he's not wearing a mask. And it's like, well, yeah, he got tested, but the point is like they're supposed to be wearing masks until they get into the bench area, and that's when they can take them off. So, whatever, LeBron, I'm sorry, man. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be different if he was like to the brim, covering himself at all times, and like you could see he was doing that. And I'm not saying he's not doing that in his personal life, but I'm just saying at least what I can watch when I watch these games is he's not like 1,000% on point there. So he's just backstabbing is what he's doing. He's just making the NBA look bad, and he doesn't need to do it. But do I agree with him? Yes, I do agree with him.
Sahe, well, in addition to my question I'm going to give you, do you think he is indeed backstabbing? Because I just wanted to be able to say it. And then, Richie brings up a good point. The only players that are nominated to play in this game are, in fact, the best players in the league. So this was created, I believe, in MLB probably sometime in the 60s, the All-Star game. They had the whole concept of the best of the best. Competing to really determine who the best is, and obviously, in my opinion at least, for show business sake. But Sahe, are the players the best players in the league, the ones that most of them in the postseason, most of them that, as we talked off the show, didn't get much of a break before they had to jump right back into this crazy season that they have now? Are they justified in wanting to not have this extra game on their schedule?
Nope, because that's what they signed up for. They wanted to be professional basketball players in the NBA, and part of the NBA is playing in the All-Star game if you're good enough. If you don't want to play in the All-Star game, don't be good enough for the All-Star game. Go, you know what I'm saying? Don't play in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Kobe would have never said anything like that. Jordan would have never said anything like that. Anytime you put that basketball out on the court, they want to play ball. LeBron James, he want to play basketball, but he really don't want to play basketball. He just interested in winning, championships the easy way, making super teams. He's got a trade for Anthony Davis. He flops all the time. He doesn't want to get it the hard way. So just shut up, LeBron, on this one. If you got to play the All-Star game, play it. You know what I'm saying? You're not the GOAT talking like this.
I'm with Sahe, man. He put it the best way. He put, like, they have never not played an All-Star game. And if you're going to play 72 fucking games, suck it up and play the All-Star game. It would be different if they only did like a mini 30-game season and they chose to do the bubble again. I could see that. But they're playing almost, 72 versus 82. So 10 less games. But basically, they're playing a full season. You're going to play the All-Star game. Like, what are you talking about? That's the only thing the NBA is really not. When you think about, like you talked about, Justin, when you think about, like, the NFL, it is the Pro Bowl's whatever. Let's be honest, right? People care about playoffs. But what is the NBA truthfully most known for? The All-Star game, the dunking contest, the three-point line, three-point shooting contest. Like, that's what people, the first thing I think of when I think of NBA, dunk contest, three-point contest, All-Star game. Those games, that the stuff is hype. That whole weekend is fun. With the NFL, like the Pro Bowl, everyone's like, shit. Nobody cares about that. Super Bowl's next week, right? Nobody cares. Nobody plays it. But in the NBA, the best of the best play in it. And that's what you want to see. You want to, even though they're not playing the game that seriously, it's fun to watch LeBron James and, if only, but like Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Garnett, Steph Curry, all these guys, these incredible guys that would never play together, get an opportunity to play together for one game. And not this year, you don't want to do it, even though you're exposing yourself for 72 games anyway.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add to this. I'm gonna add to it. Just for those comments, the commissioner should say, LeBron, you're going to play in this All-Star game and you're going to give it everything you got. And if I don't feel like you gave it everything you got, we're going to fine your ass. We're going to fine your ass $50,000. So you better get your ass out on that court and play ball.
You know what's sad? LeBron James would probably just hand him the $50K and not show up.
Hey,
I feel like that's one Instagram post for me, man. Well, okay, sure, here you go.
So win-win for everybody there.
Yeah,
I mean,
cheers.
something else that we should talk about.
Except the fans.
Why are we not holding LeBron and some of these other athletes that feel the same way accountable for the fact that this is a high honor, right? I mean, you are being considered one of the best. I mean, this is the All-Star game, as Richie said, that people pay attention to. And for as many as he's played in, why would he not continue to pad his career? I mean, Sahe, you put it very well. He's not really focused on anything but padding that record and making it look pretty. It doesn't seem like he's as focused as he could and should be. Is it disrespectful to the NBA? Is this a major slap in the face? Because they're honoring him, really.
Right. It's a huge slap in the face because it's a celebration weekend, and it's like somebody throwing you a birthday party, and they got you all kind of gifts and made all kind of special dishes and brought all your friends over, and you get to the party and you're like, man, do I gotta be here? I don't want to be here for this.
That's me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, LeBron, we did this for you. We did it for you. Not, you know what I'm saying? It's ungrateful. That's what it is.
Agreed. I couldn't agree more. Well, he may not have he's got the confidence and he believes that they're the team to beat again. And we've talked about them being the team to beat, but something that could definitely change that. Right now, Anthony Davis is having what is being described by NBA.com as a fairly significant calf injury. Originally, when he first went down, and it was, I don't know if you guys saw the clip, but it didn't really look like much, which most of the time is more scary than an obvious injury,
yes.
Right? It was originally described as an Achilles strain. I think everybody kind of held their breath because we know we just saw KD and are currently seeing KD trying to play with that kind of injury, which he's a freak. He's been playing on it. But my questions in regards to AD, what is this potentially season dampening injury? Because I mean, a calf injury is a big deal, especially for a big guy like AD. What does that mean for the future of the LA Lakers the rest of this season, Sahe? I mean, does that, without AD, is this still a team to beat? Is this still a team that we're going to see repeat their championship?
To answer that question quickly, without AD, are they going to do anything? No. They need AD out there. LeBron's too old. He barely wants to play in the All-Star games, so you can tell he's tired. So he needs somebody to lean on. And if they don't have him, then they're cooked. But I'm going to say this, because I didn't see the clip, and you're saying it didn't look that bad. Maybe they're faking the injury. They want to just limp right into the playoffs instead of load management, calling it that. You know, everybody's up in arms about that. They want to start. So it's like, you know what? AD, go down with an injury. Save yourself. And we just going to limp this thing on into the playoffs. And you just come back miraculously. You know what I'm saying? And then we good. We gonna let LeBron, you know what I'm saying, do his thing and load manage here and there. But we gonna need you to be at full strength for the playoffs. So that's what
talk about.
Right? Yeah,
wow,
yeah. I'm getting right down to it. I'm getting right into the line of LeBron.
Okay.
Right into the
Well, I'll pause on question 2 then. Let's Richie.
Yeah,
Richie,
dig into this conspiracy.
what are your thoughts?
Dig into this. You know what? Let's go. Let's keep going. Okay, sure. Let's think of it this way. Steph Curry's averaging 30 points per game and is almost at his statistics of his 2016 MVP caliber season. So he's been getting a lot of talk about the MVP. So maybe Bron said, all right, buddy, stay down. I need more shots. I need more points. I need more stats. I got to get this MVP. I was robbed last year. I need this MVP. That's why he don't care about this All-Star game. He wants these points. He's tired.
Right, he needs all the rest as possible.
Yeah. Yes, he wants AD to do the work in the postseason. He gonna do the work in the regular season. So he's an AD. You chill for about 15 games, and let me start averaging 38 points a game. So we'll lean into this conspiracy with Sahe. But yeah, no, I mean, without Anthony Davis, this team is 7th or 6th in the West, and that's no disrespect to LeBron James. That's how bad this team is. Last year's team was very deep. This year's team is Dennis Schroeder and Bron and Anthony Davis, and that's about it. Let's be honest. Marc Gasol is a playoff type player, but he's not going to win you games in the regular season. The man's damn near 40. Yeah. So this is not a team that's built to do without Anthony Davis. This is not a Brooklyn Nets where they can afford to lose a guy. This is not the Clippers where they still have at least 6-7 guys. This is a 2-man team, and 1 man is down. Now, why he's down, we can discuss. But nonetheless, if he is down for an extended period of time, this is not a remote. This isn't a championship winning team. This is a limping into, like as Sahe's been saying, limping into like the AC type team. Because you got to remember, Bron didn't even make the playoffs his first year, and that squad is better than the squad without Anthony Davis currently, because Anthony Davis and Bron are such a big part of the cap. So if he couldn't do it with those cats, like Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball and them, I don't see how he's going to do it with these nobodies. And him and Dennis Schroeder's a point guard, right? Averages maybe 18 points per game. He'd have to average 45 points a game for them to win games. And let's be honest, he's not that type of player anymore. He's still an amazing player. Still arguably, in my opinion, probably the best NBA player. But he's not the type of dude that can do James Harden, that can just win regular season games on his own. He doesn't have that type of performance left in him. He doesn't have that kind of gas in the tank, man. No way.
So that kind of leads me into my next question, Richie. So obviously AD with his calf, whether it's real or not, something I didn't expect to talk about. But then Durant nursing a hamstring injury, whether it's real or not. But more than likely with Kevin Durant, it's probably real, and it's probably I don't know. We can talk about whether or not. My opinion, it's the same leg, right? I think
it is the same.
It's got to be compensation, right? Some kind of compensation on that leg that's now leading to a hamstring injury. I don't know. People don't come back from Achilles injuries. I've said it a million times. Does this all bring to question the lack of rest that LeBron was speaking about? I mean, really, that's what he was speaking of. We don't have a break this year. Sure, we're playing 10 less games, but we're playing it right after the bubble. Is this further justifying that now that we're like 2 weeks from the mid-season point? So they still have quite the road to the playoffs. I mean, we got a way to go. Jim Morris said it best. We like to quote him around here. Playoffs. I just want to win a game.
They're just trying to, and right now without AD, they're just trying to win a game. Let's be honest. But to answer your question, I actually do agree with LeBron. Again, they're athletes; they're paid to play. But one of the things they were trying to advocate in the NBA PA was trying to advocate was playing less games, right? Because if this wasn't a 72-game schedule, they wouldn't have had to start. What was it? A month or 3 weeks after the NBA Finals. So for the Lakers and for the Heat, they haven't gotten a rest. Now, could that be a reason Anthony Davis is injured, or is it really the conspiracy theories that he's talking about? We can't know. But what I will say is that, I agree with LeBron in the sense of, that's terrible. Could you imagine in the NFL, and again, different sport, but still endurance and dealing with the physicality of it constantly in that grind. Could you imagine after the Super Bowl, a month later, they're starting, they're off, they're like training camps already, and they're moving right on to the next season, because that's what they're doing at the end of the day with the NBA currently. And it's a lot. And Could that be affecting Kevin? I'm going to say no on the Kevin because he hadn't been playing, let's be honest. But for somebody like Anthony Davis, who only had 3 weeks or a month off, absolutely it's possible. Or Bron's padding his stats. Just like I also think Kevin's sitting because James Harden is only averaging 8 points a game and he needs the shots. That's what I really think. I'm going on the Sahe on the Brooklyn Nets right now. I really think Kevin Durant's out for 2 weeks with COVID and his knee, and it's because James Harden's taking 6 shots a game, and he needs to get back to 18 because Kyrie's taking like 30 a game. It's pretty crazy. So there's no way all of them can shoot that much. So one of them, each one's going to take a bullet. That's my theory. I think when Kevin gets back, because Kyrie went on his sabbatical, and then James Harden's going to go on his sabbatical, and they're just going to rotate. One guy will always be out. I know that wasn't the question, but that's where we're going now.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we'll roll around into that. Sahe, same question about, do you think that this season, the structure of it, the way that they're adapting to COVID and the way that things have played out, is it ultimately straining the players past a limit that they should be able to handle? Like, is it going to continue this way? Because as I mentioned a couple times, we're not even at the halfway point. Will we see that, or are you maintaining that these are all bench warrants as they?
To be honest with you, I don't think so, because didn't they shut the season down? Like, how close to the end last year? Did they play a full season or what before COVID?
No, they played an extremely reduced. Yep.
And then they were off for a long time, and then the bubble came.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it was like 6 months, Sahe. 6 or 8 months.
They got their rest in. You know what I'm saying? This is just what they have to do to get everything back on track. Because they can't push back the season another couple months, and they'll have to do that every year, get a new season. And that just would have destroyed everything. So I think they're doing the best they can, taking off the couple games. There's really not much you can do. These are highly conditioned, well-paid athletes. This is their job to do it, you know what I'm saying, no matter what. And they get a hell of a long off season. They got to go hard every night, but that's what they get paid for. No, the NBA is doing exactly what they need to do.
Well, I'm happy to announce that we have our first disagreement. I'm going to advocate for the players because, and I guess it's not a full disagreement because Richie did too, but here's the thing. This is not just the games being compiled. This is COVID regulations. This is weeks and weeks away from family. This is a complete culture change and culture shock. This is not just exhausting physically because of the compounded schedule. Yeah, they got their break, but you're still adding playoffs onto a almost regular season with not much of a break in between there for some of the guys that were able to make it into the playoffs. And then you add in the factor that they're taking all these sacrifices. I mean, I get it. They signed to the NBA, but they've had a complete culture shock just like everyone else, and they're trying to maintain, for lack of for the lack of 10 games, a regular season in the NBA. And it's not been a regular season. We've got all kinds of crazy trades and moving, and I don't think anybody on this panel expected James Harden to be the one taking the back seat. I think we all said something different than that. So, that's my disagreement. Anybody want to come at me on that?
I mean, go ahead, Sahe.
I was just gonna say, poor NBA players, right? They've got to go through all these hardships and COVID regulations to stay safe. Get out on the court and play. Make that money. I don't want to hear all this about your feelings. Like, if it's that big of a deal, sit on the bench. Let the next guy get in the game. Because that's what we want to see. We want to see the game. We care about these players and all that, but if they weren't playing in the NBA, we wouldn't give a damn about them. So get out there and entertain us. That should be their number one priority, because there's people out here starving and can't eat. They ain't got nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? They need something. And you got LeBron complaining about every little game. Why do we gotta play the All-Star game? Oh, I just want to make my millions and do what I want to do. Like, shut up and get out on the court, all right?
Damn.
We need you. You know what I'm saying?
He sounds like
he's saying shut up and dribble. You heard him.
He sounds like that Browns video.
Exactly. Shut your ass up and get on this court.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning, I'd like to clarify. At the beginning of this segment, I agree with LeBron and the players. Sahe made his point, and I have completely switched to what Justice said. Like, I am 100% on the Sahe bandwagon now. I'm with him. Like, let's talk to the folks again. I'm backing up Sahe. We are. All right. So they had exhibition scrimmage games from July 22nd to the 28th. Then they played regular season seeding games for 2 weeks. They then had a play-in tournament for the crappier teams. And then there was the NBA playoffs, which lasted from August to September, and then September to October. So they actually had 6 weeks off after the playoff bubble championship to now. In addition to Sahi's point, they didn't even play the previous October. So they didn't play for almost a year. They only had to play for 3 weeks. And then if you were a shit team, you didn't play until a year and a half, like way later. And then if you were a good team, you played for 2.5 months in the bubble. So you know what? I'm with Sahe. What was I thinking? They played like 25, 30 games total last year. And that's only if you were good enough to be in the playoffs. Like Steph Curry, and he mentioned it. He's like, I want to play every game because the dude hadn't played since like 2019, you know what I mean? Like 2019 or some stuff. So yeah, no, like what are these people complaining about? I'm with Sahe. This is crazy. They play 82 games a year normally, not including the playoffs. They play, including the playoffs, play less than 30 games. And now they're complaining that they play 72, which is still less than they normally play. Are you kidding me? What?
Right.
I'm with Sahe. Shut up and dribble. Just play the game.
Just let their families suffer. Let everybody.
Well, okay. Hold on.
That's everybody.
Hold on. Yeah. I got something for that.
Show and tell.
Let their family suffer as they make all this money. I'm sure they'll be all right.
Yeah.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. They make like $38 million a year. They'll be fine.
All right. Well, it's okay. We don't always have to agree. Just to wrap it up, I want to try something new this week. Let's make amends. Everybody, we're going to go around the horn before we end. Let's make amends with somebody that we've talked about here on The Wire, because I think we've all got somebody that we could go with. I'll start. I'm going to make amends with Matthew Stafford. I think he's in a better position now. I think that with the threat that LA could be, I think that was a good move, and I think that he has a bright future. And I'm not gonna go back on my statement about he wasn't held back by Detroit necessarily. I don't think still, but I think that if there was a move for him other than going home, it might be this one. So I'll make amends with you, Matt Stafford. Don't prove me wrong, or I'm coming back at you. Richie, who do you want to make amends with, man?
Who am I going to make amends with? Ooh, this is a tough one, because most of the people I hate with vitriol, and it's not changing. I'll make amends with Ben Roethlisberger. You know what? I'll tell you what. I've had a vendetta against him since his days in Miami Oxford, as a matter of fact, in college, not just the Steelers. I'll make amends. And here's what I'll make amends. I saw that poor man crying with Pouncey, in that pitiful performance with Cleveland. And, he may be degenerating. He may not be the player he once was, but he's trying his damnedest, right? And that's all anyone can ask for. So even though I always smack talk him, because for a very small period of time in his career, he was an elite and top 3 quarterback, probably about 3 years of his career. And I've always given him too much flack, and it's not his fault that people hold him in that esteem. But it grinds my gears that, because of that small period of time and the franchise he plays for that he's just held in such high revere. But at the end of the day, it's not his fault. He went out to play as much as he could, and he tries the best that he can. And quite frankly, he's getting older. His line's garbage. It is what it is. So I'll make amends to Ben Roethlisberger. You know what? If you want to be the second highest paid quarterback in the league, go for it, man. You've taken a beating.
Never saw that one coming.
Right?
Tony Ray, I hope you're watching, man. Can't wait for you.
You'll never hear it again. You got one make amends. I won't be ever saying positive things again. Get it this time, Ben.
Good thing these are all archived. We can just go back and replay. Sahe, who in all of sports would you like to make amends with?
Let me make amends with the city and the fans of Kansas City, the old Chief fans. We talked about predictions, and we talked about who we thought we were going to win, and I said that the Buccaneers was going to beat Kansas City's ass. I mean, we did. I was right. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't fuck with us, Kansas City.
Who are you supposed to make amends?
But, you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have did that. Y'all had a great season. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback. Andy Reid is a good coach. Got great talent out there. And if it was against any other team, I would have been rooting for y'all. Y'all probably would have won. But y'all really didn't stand a chance anyway. So I shouldn't have put it out there like that. I should have just been humble and say we were going to win by 3 or something like that. I didn't have to say we were going to beat y'all ass. But you know what I'm saying? We did. And I'm sorry. Better luck next year.
I don't know if you drove the nail in further or pulled it out a little. I can't make heads or tails on that. He said,
I don't love shit talk Ben Roethlisberger like that.
I mean, if I remember it correctly, the exact comment was, well, if I'm being honest, I'm gonna have to pick Kansas City to get their motherfucking ass whooped.
I pulled them in to my side, and then I pushed them off the ledge. Pulled them up and was like,
"Oh my god!"
and dropped them.
Well, this has been a lot of fun as usual. Thank you for watching The Wire. For Richie, Sahe, and myself, have a great week. Don't miss the H2G podcast tomorrow at 7. And something we want to tell you, we mentioned archive, h2gpodcast.com. You can find all the old wires, all of the old H2G podcasts. And specifically, this past Monday, we had Joe and Angela from miniriches.com. You got to check that out, especially if you're a married couple. It was a super informative episode. I think it could be on repeat and helpful in several households. So make sure you check out h2gpodcast.com. Thanks for watching The Wire. We'll be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Man, I don't want to be Sahe. Like, could you imagine being Sahe's family and you're trying to make amends and that's how you're talking to you?
We haven't talked in 22 years. It's because you're an asshole, but I'm sorry.
It's because you're an asshole. Then I should have told you that sooner.
Right? That's how it is. That shit's hilarious.